Welcome to Men, Sex, and Tantra.
Discover what your parents, porn, and religion never taught you about being a man and having extraordinary sex. Get ready to have your mind blown and your world rocked. Hey, we're back. It's Tanja and John, and we're sex, tantra, and men, sex, tantra, something like that. Anyway, you can
all three.
Yeah, you can read the cover. We're just banging along here, talking about men and things like that,
Banging along.
Right, banging along. It's always got to be an innuendo, right? Okay, and today, a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and I'm sure to John's as well, is honoring your word. Honoring your word. And what happens, what is it? First of all, let's define what that means for this conversation. And then we'll talk about how the inconsistency of that, being inconsistent of that, definitely impacts you and your relationships. So,
yeah.
Jump in there. How do you define your word?
How do I define my word? So my word ties into integrity.
Okay.
So for me, without integrity, nothing works.
And what does integrity mean to you?
Integrity means to me is that what I say, I'm going to do.
Okay.
And that includes if I say I'm going to do something and I don't do it, I speak to what I didn't do.
Okay.
So there's always an upkeep in what I'm promising. So I'm not promising out of people pleasing. I'm not promising out of keeping someone's emotions in check.
Yeah, managing somebody, right?
Yeah, I'm promising because I'm devoted to committing my energy, my time and energy to whatever that is. So
I want to say that word. Say that again. I'm devoted to.
I'm devoted to spending my time and energy onto whatever it is that I want to do, which could be presence. It could be a podcast. It could be reading a book. It could be saying I'm going to go cook dinner or cut the lawn or go pick up something from the shops. Like very simple things, and being able to give times to them. Time is always an important thing in integrity, but it's honoring what I say I'm going to do.
Okay. And I love the word devoted onto that, because that's a high level. Devoted is a big, big action word. I mean, that's an embodied action word, full on action word. And there is nothing sexier. Men, you guys need to hear this. Nothing sexier, not a fucking thing sexier than a man who you can count on what he says. And let me tell you why. Because when he says, I love you, you know he actually means it.
Yeah.
When he says you're beautiful, you can count on that. When he says I've got you, or I'll take care of that, you take it off your plate because he's fucking got it. So just please listen to this, man. Just please listen. Write it fucking down, whatever you need to do. But hear me. When you're calling me to ask how to make your woman want you and run you down the halls to grab you and have sex with you, this is one of the biggest keys ever. The biggest key ever. Because when I know that I can count on you, because when you say it, it's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, you're telling me what's going on with that. I relax into the trust of you. And I feel safe. I feel taken care of. I feel like you're telling me the truth. When you look in my eyes and say, there's nobody but you, I don't question that one tiny bit. So that is what's hot. And let me tell you, it's not just for me. I can tell you that thousands of women I've talked to will tell you the same thing. And absolutely. And I have a lot of straight women that have said they want to date me because I am somebody who keeps my fucking word.
Yeah, you are. And you embody that. I feel that.
Right.
You're like, it's going to happen. All right. Tanya's got this. I know. I get it. She's going to be in integrity. Yeah.
There you go.
0 to 100. She's going to be there.
Right. And so, yeah, my straight women friends are always like, can I date you? I'm like, So just know that. Okay. What do I mean? Honoring the word. I think John said it great. And to me, the word integrity is a little bit more than just keeping your word. To me, the word integrity is a connection between your totality, meaning your head, your mind, your heart, your truth, your will, your sex, your foundation. It's like you have figured out how to integrate all of you. And that's a big thing. And we'll talk about that probably a different time. But just so you know that for me, integrity isn't just when you said you'd be there at 5, you'd be there at 5, but that you're operating on what I call all cylinders. You're operating through and through. Because when you're in that space, you're certain. You trust yourself. You appreciate yourself. You respect yourself. You've got it. You know you've got it. Therefore, you can give to others because you're full.
Yeah.
Instead of giving to somebody from people pleasing, fear, anything else. That's a big thing. You know, I teach that, and so does John. We know what these things mean.
Yeah.
But for today, let's talk about, honoring the word. So, okay, you've heard my take, heard John's take. So, John, what else do you want to say to this? Why does it seem to be so freaking hard? I mean, literally, and online dating is the worst part of it. Like, I'll talk to you later. You realize that even in real dating, when a man says, I'll talk to you later to a woman, she fucking believes that.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's so stupid because I know they're not serious. Because when a man says, talk to you later, and he doesn't say, I'll call you Friday,
Yeah.
he's just trying to get out of the fucking conversation. Has no
Totally.
intention of talking to you later. Oh my God.
So like what comes up for me is that you're born with a certain amount of integrity. And then as you grow up, whatever the little white lies and the little things that you've told to other people, to your parents, to your teachers, to your boss, eventually accrue, and then your integrity means nothing. So what you need to do is restore that. So that includes like taking care of yourself. That includes your relationships. That includes like what you eat. That includes what you exercise. Like includes where you're honoring what you want to action into the world. And yeah, it starts very young. It's like when your dad or your mom or whoever your caregivers are come up to you and say, hey, did you do that? And straight away the fear kicks in because they're angry. And you go, no, I didn't do that. Lie. Integrity gone. Instead of owning it, but in owning your integrity, you get punished, right? There's a consequence.
Yeah.
So you want to avoid the punishment. Yeah, Dad, you know what? Yeah, I climbed up on the cupboard and I ate all the cookies. Or, you know what, Mum? Yeah, I got all your makeup and I love what you do and I just wanted to put it all over my face.
Right.
And then like just in that moment, like you want to own it, but you don't want to own it. Like you don't want to feel the hurt and the pain of being punished. So you just lie. And the same thing happens in corporate, right? Like whose responsibility is it? You just defer it. Oh, it's that department's. Oh, it was HR's responsibility to do that. Oh, it was this. There's all this murkiness in maintaining the word. And you see this in politics. This is all aspects of life. When there's integrity in self, it flows out into all of your circles. It ripples out when there's a lack of integrity, it ripples out. So when there's integrity, it reinforces all the integrity. So without integrity, then I love your analogy there of the full body integrity, and I totally agree with that. But just the little bits of just honoring the small things, it cascades into bigger things. So I think there's a waterfall effect there, that with integrity, that once you start it, forgive yourself for what you didn't know. Yeah. Like forgive yourself about all the past. Like it's fine. Like just acknowledge it. But then where you want to value your integrity, start making the steps to repair that.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I see when we're kids, everybody tells us not to lie. Like it's the most important thing ever. And yet everybody lies. Your parents lie to you fucking all the time. Like I remember I was teaching a middle school class on how to just be basic good humans. It's like here's this middle school, and let me tell you, middle schoolers, oh my God, talk about a smelly classroom. But they really stink. Hats off to the teachers that teach middle schoolers. Holy crap. Anyway, they are standing there and I'm saying to them, hey, you know how everybody wants to tell the truth, tell the truth, tell the truth. And I said, yeah, your parents lie all the time. You hear your mom go, oh, I'm sorry, we can't make it. Johnny's sick. He's not sick. And, oh, I'm sorry, we were late. There was traffic, whatever. I mean, like everywhere. And we, and you can look up the science behind this, lie to ourselves over 2,000 times a day.
Oh.
2,000 times a day. So this is not giving you a free pass, but I'm telling you that basically lying is an ingrained thing. The avoidant of trouble, the avoidance of a consequence. The majority of the reason I think people don't keep their word is they didn't really agree to the thing anyway.
Ooh.
So I want to repeat that. I want to take a moment with that. I think the majority of time when we make an agreement, we're not really agreeing to it. We don't want to agree to it. We're just avoiding a conflict or going along with something. Like you say, hey, your partner says, hey, be home by 5. And you're like, yeah, okay, sure. You don't have any intention of coming home 5, but you don't want to talk about this shit now. Right? You didn't really agree to it, but you went ahead and said it. And now you're in an internal fucking conflict. Oh my God. Okay. So, hey, monogamy. There's a perfect example. So you're like, oh, I really like you. I like you. We're dating. We're having sex. She says, hey, well, we're just exclusive, right? And you're like, wow, you're having such great sex because you just ejaculated and you feel awesome. You're like, well, hell yeah. Yeah, we're monogamous. But you never stop to think about, is that true for you? You make agreements. We make agreements all the freaking time that we don't actually agree with. So, holy shit, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? What does that mean? It means that the world is run on agreements that we don't want to do.
So that means that we're out of honor right from the get-go. And every time we step out of honoring our word, we trust ourselves less.
Yeah.
Now we know we're untrustworthy. And yet we're asking people to trust us. So we're in that internal conflict. You can't be in integrity because you can't be integrated when you're in internal conflict.
Absolutely. I'm shaking my head there. Absolutely.
He's like, yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and that shows up in the body as like rigidity or some kind of illness or tension.
Headaches, stomach aches.
Totally.
Oh, impotence.
Yes. Amen. Thank you. Yes, totally.
Premature ejaculation, delayed ejaculation. Yep.
And vaginal dryness. No, I don't want to have sex, but I'm going to have sex anyway, but it hurts. Okay, cool. There's something that we're missing here. There's something that's off.
Yes, lack of orgasm for a woman.
Lack of orgasm.
Oh my God.
Lack of depth of orgasm.
Right. So it infiltrates everything we do. So if you say you're going to do something and you don't, you destroy your personal integrity time and time and time and fucking time. And I don't care if it's 2 minutes, 4 minutes late, whatever it is. This is a serious problem. I mean, a very serious problem. It shows up in everything. It'll totally take you down. It'll mess up your life. You're never going to feel happy and content if you're out in this internal conflict with yourself. That's just how it is.
It's just the reality. You can't. It's like just there's no other way around that. It's just that's it. Yeah.
So that's heavy shit. I know. Right?
Shake it off.
Yeah. And John said something great. And sorry, I have I got up at 2:45 a.m. I've had a long day. My brain is like, whatever. I hope this shit's good.
It is great. It's great. I love it.
Okay, great. And because you talked about how, that showing up when you're saying you're going to do something, you're doing it, how important that is to you as a man. That you don't, and that you're checking, because when you say, hey, I'll help you do X, Y, and Z, you actually are doing an internal check to find out, do I agree with this.
Totally. And in that, like agreeing to lots of things, like in that XYZ, for example, like let's say it's going to the shops and picking up something.
Yeah.
Like I might get a message from my partner and I'll need to check it first. Like, do I actually want to go to the shops? It's like, well, cool. I actually want to get out of the house for one. I've been working all day, so let's get out of the house. I enjoy going to the shops. So I've turned like what normal mediocre chores are into something that's fun for me. You know, I get to see people, look in their eyes, like feel their energy, like feel what's going on for them. But I need to agree to it on my terms. Okay, I'm going to do it after I've finished like this podcast. I need to do it after I've done this. I need to have my priorities in place first. Otherwise, I self-sacrifice, and I can feel the resentment that comes up when I do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what am I agreeing to? Like, what's the priority? Because I can also become a victim to my partner's emotions.
Yeah.
So, okay, the house is untidy. Okay, cool. I'm going to do the vacuuming or whatever, like do something to tidy up the house. But I don't want to do that. That's not a priority for me. My priority is like chasing down leads, having the short calls, having the sales calls, working with clients, doing amazing podcasts. Like, that's my priority, because this is my business is me. My brand is me. What I create is me, which affects all of my aspects of bringing money in and production and being a provider. So tidying the house might make her feel secure and good because it ticks her box of perfection. But for me, it's not where I'm at. So if I agree to it, I put everything else that I have as a priority in jeopardy: my business, my brand, who I am. So when I'm agreeing to something, I want to make sure that I'm agreeing to it. And there can be moments when, like, I've had a late night, you know, and my brain's just, I'm not present. Like I'm wired. I'm like, I haven't taken care of myself. I've neglected myself in some way, shape, or form. And I agree to things, and I need to double back.
Yeah.
And
so
say, hey, I agreed to this. You know what? And I'm either exhausted, I'm XYZ, I can't do this right now, or I agreed to it and I never wanted to do it in the first place. You don't even need to apologize. It's like, I said this, I said that in this context, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And it clears the integrity. Yeah.
Right. And then whatever chips fall, they fall.
Exactly.
And people have to figure out how to work that. So I always think a lot of the times, because I adore men and I know that men will do anything. I mean, seeing their woman smile, like women always think that men are only after sex. And the reality is, if a man loves you, you smiling is the highlight of his
Amen. Yes,
life, right?
totally.
Exactly.
Totally.
So if you're, you say you want something, most men want to try to give that to you, right?
Yes.
In fact, most women complain because men are trying to fix stuff all the time because they want to make you happy and they want to do something for you, right? And part of that then is also them agreeing easily when they really shouldn't be. And because nobody's practicing do you want to go to the zoo? No. Conversation.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go to the zoo then. Okay, see you later.
Exactly. Amen. Yes.
Right? Yeah, because people don't practice that. There's not a container for this. So just like we talked about in a different podcast of creating these containers, you don't want to listen to us and then just walk into your relationship and go, your wife says something to you and you've always said yes to it and you're like, fuck no, they said I didn't even have I do not suggest that you, so we're clear. Don't. We'll give you some suggestions in a moment, but just don't start that way, please.
No, don't do that.
To just say fuck no.
Fuck no.
Yeah. Yeah,
let's have dinner tonight. Fuck no.
Yeah, right. You said you were going to take me out. Yeah, no. I know I said yeah, no. Right. Yeah, there's ways and ways to do this, but I would say the first thing would be to ask yourself before you say yes to anything or no, to take a moment and really feel it. Like, really feel it. If you're
F word.
Yeah, I know, that fucking F word. If you, like, I say yes, I want to say yes to engagements outside of my house. And then the day comes, because it sounds like it might have been a good idea, and the day comes and I'm hoping you cancel because I'm like, I don't want to leave the house. Because, oh my God, I've already done all this stuff. Anyway, I have to be cognizant of that's how I roll,
Yeah.
right? Because otherwise I'm out of integrity. Because then I'm like saying yes, and then I'm hoping you cancel because
Yeah.
I don't want to go. That's a
Wow.
problem, right? So I got to fix that shit myself. That's a me problem. So identifying you as the problem first. I don't care what's happening out there first. It doesn't matter if she's this way or he's that way or they're this way or whatever. It doesn't matter. Check you first. Like take an exercise and actually journal or write down how often do you think you keep your word to yourself. Like if you said I'm going to go work out tomorrow and you don't, yeah, you need to start with you.
Yeah.
Every time you say something. So take a little quick inventory. Is it 50% of the time, 60% of the time? What is it? Write it down. How often do you actually keep your word to yourself?
Yeah.
And if you look at that and you're scared because it's freaking dismal, that's okay. It's where you are right now. And then look at the things you're asking yourself. Like if you don't want to quit smoking and you say, tomorrow I'm going to quit smoking, and you know that you don't want to quit smoking, then just stop fucking lying.
Yeah.
You know, just stop
Yeah.
lying. Just
Stop it.
doing it. It is
Stop
that
it.
easy. Just stop it is literally you not opening your mouth to make that lie come out. Do that first. So I'm suggesting the path to honor your word, and very few, I'll let you know this right now. If you're not keeping your word to yourself, you're in the 95% of people not keeping their word to themselves. All right. This is not ingrained. This is not taught. It's inside. This is real shit that we got to pull on your big boy pants and do some work, because this is something a lot of people don't do. So I say start small. Really check yourself when you're telling yourself you're going to do something. And the way to do that is, first check all those agreements that you think you're doing. Let go of all of them. Just fuck them all. You're not quitting drinking. You're not quitting smoking, whatever. Just stop right now. Just let them all go. And then take one tiny thing, one small thing that you know you could be successful at. Maybe it's, I'm going to get up when the alarm goes off and I'm not going to hit the snooze button. If that's too big, don't start there. One tiny small, and I'm hand gesturing all over the place by these tiny words, by the way. One tiny little step. Do it every single day. Make the agreement you're going to do it every single day for 2 weeks. And if you fail, you have to start again. And nobody knows. It doesn't matter. You have to start day one.
Yeah.
And when you've been successful that 2 weeks, you congratulate yourself. That's fucking awesome. You made it. You make another small challenge, a little bit bigger, for another 2 weeks. And then the next time you do a 30-day challenge, and it's a little bit harder. What you're doing every single time you do this is you're building your own personal trust, your personal commitment, and practicing your word to yourself. And after a while, I still do 30. I've been doing 30-day challenges for over 30 years. And when I say I'm going to do something for myself, I fucking do it. I want to stop eating sugar. I just stop eating sugar. My brain is wired to do what I want to do. That's brain training. And this is how it starts. So just take that and walk with it. Just do it like that, small. Make sure you're successful at first, because we follow success. That's what we do. Right? And then I'm going to try
Beautiful.
John for his to thank you. And John, what's
Thank you. That was amazing. Yeah, I loved all that. I hope everyone got that down, because that was next level tips right there. Same thing for me. I went cold turkey on cigarettes in my 20s. That's it. I'm not having another cig. I'm not having another fag.
not now?
So tips for me is in the actions that you're currently doing. So everything that you do, whatever you're doing right now, are you doing it because you want to do it, or are you doing it out of obligation? And it could be anything. And removing the morality from it. So as soon as you judge it as good or bad, you start weighing all this good and bad morality on you. Oh, I'm doing this out of obligation. Oh, it's bad. No, you're just doing it out of obligation. Like, oh, I need to take the trash out every Thursday. Why am I doing that? Am I doing it out of obligation? Maybe you are, maybe you're not. Well, how can you transform that from obligation to, hey, this is a responsibility, and I can do it empoweredly instead of doing it resentfully? So the actions that you're doing now, my tip is, in sum, the actions that you're doing now, just be present to them and be able to put a label on them as, are you devoted to it or are you doing it out of obligation?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you don't know that, if you don't get it, you don't, yeah. I mean, you're not even checking with yourself, right?
Totally.
You're just automatically saying whatever it is you're saying.
Yeah.
And then you're wondering, why is my partner always giving me shit about stuff? It's like, well, probably right there. That's one of the big, you and I know that not keeping your word is one of the big reasons relationships tank, and one of the biggest reasons that people's sex life isn't really awesome. So
Yeah.
stop trying to find that butterfly technique and start keeping your word.
and, and stay in careers you don't want to stay into,
Yep.
and vote for people that you don't want to vote for, and the whole it's like a little, it spreads into everything.
Insidious. Yeah. It's insidious. All right. So that's it for this one, and we'll be back.
Yeah, sending love. Bye.